Tonight, we follow a flight that died in the last minute, not from failure, but from invisible air.
Delta 191 is on final approach, and then it starts falling like the sky. Just let go. In that white noise of rain, the runway disappears, and instruments become the only truth left. Open. The aircraft tears past the airport boundary and charges toward a highway filled with various individuals, including a young Cockpit. So what force can overpower a wide-body jet in the final seconds before landing?
To understand the last minute, we have to rewind the day back to where everything still looked normal.
At noon in Fort Lauderdale, Delta 191 prepares for Dallas, then onward to Los Angeles.
The aircraft is a Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, a powerful widebody built to feel unstoppable. 152 passengers board, carrying plans that assume the sky will cooperate. Up front, an experienced crew prepares, trusting procedures and the machine they know by heart.
The TriStar pushes back and taxis out, one more flight joining a busy summer rhythm. Delta 191 lifts cleanly into the afternoon, leaving Florida behind and aiming for Texas heat.
For hours, everything feels calm, which is how most tragedies disguise their approach.
Over North Texas, heat and humidity feed thunderstorms that can grow faster than schedules can adapt.
As the aircraft descends, the air thickens, and the storm's influence starts to reach up from below.
Radar shows rain clearly, but the most dangerous part of this story is the wind radar cannot show.
Controllers begin sequencing arrivals, threading jets between cells that refuse to stay in one place.
A slight course change buys minutes, but the final approach still points straight toward unstable air.
Passengers see a storm outside, but the crew is measuring something else: how quickly the storm is changing.
They configure for landing, because on final approach, every second must be pre-decided.
The aircraft lines up for runway 17 left, following an invisible path through a storm that is still evolving.
A jet ahead lands safely, and that single moment can whisper the most dangerous idea. It is probably fine.
The moment they enter the heaviest rain, the outside world becomes noise, and the storm becomes the environment.
Lightning does not cause the crash, but it marks the kind of storm where the real killer can form.
A microburst is air collapsing downward, striking the ground, then exploding outward, as violent wind shear. First, speed rises. Then the aircraft is pushed down. Finally, lift is stolen at the lowest altitude of the flight.
At the edge, the headwind boosts performance and makes the aircraft feel safe for a few seconds.
To stay on the glide path, power is reduced, and the aircraft stores less energy for what comes next.
Then the downdraft hits, pushing the TriStar down toward terrain with brutal force.
Airspeed drains away, and the wings lose the lift they need to stay above the ground.
The headwind collapses into tailwind, and the aircraft suddenly has less airspeed than it believes. Power surges, but engines cannot instantly replace the lift a microburst just erased.
The aircraft sinks faster than it can climb, and the ground arrives earlier than the mind can accept. At this height, there is no room left for the storm to make mistakes, and no time left for the crew to recover.
The landing gear strikes a field, not a runway, and the aircraft continues forward at extreme speed.
It bounces, brakes, and keeps moving, no longer a landing attempt, now a disaster in motion.
Ahead, cars are lined up in storm traffic, and none of them have time to understand what is happening.
The jet strikes roadside structures, and breakup accelerates as metal tears away under unstoppable momentum. Fuel ignites, and fire blooms bright against the storm while the aircraft disintegrates around it.
In minutes, a flight becomes a debris field, and the storm keeps moving as if nothing happened.
The microburst does not stay to witness what it caused, but people on the ground must.
First responders enter a scene still under attack from weather, moving fast through chaos and darkness. In one area, structure holds just enough to create a pocket where a few lives can still be reached.
When the counting ends, the numbers are heavy, and every number is a person who expected to land.
Investigators map every fragment, because in aviation, the truth is reconstructed piece by piece. The data reveals a classic pattern: a surge, a collapse, and a descent too steep for the remaining altitude.
The storm is reconstructed, and the invisible culprit becomes visible. Wind shear produced by a microburst. In 1985, radar could show the rain, but the wind field inside it remained a hidden weapon. The entire disaster fits inside a decision window so small that hesitation becomes destiny. After the crash comes years of questions, because responsibility is debated long after the storm has gone.
The industry responds the only way it can, training pilots to treat wind shear as an emergency, not a challenge. Better detection arrives, giving crews and controllers what 1985 could not: a clearer view of wind itself. Warnings are designed to buy seconds, because seconds are the only currency that matters close to the ground.
The rule is brutally simple. If wind shear is possible, leaving the approach is not weakness, it is survival. For families, the story never ends at the crash site. It continues in anniversaries, photos, and empty seats.
Memorials stand where the storm once broke, so memory can do what weather never will: stay.
Runways keep working because aviation moves forward, carrying lessons that were paid for at the highest price. The force was not sabotage, not mystery, not fate in the supernatural sense. It was physics inside a storm.
Delta 191 was brought down by extreme wind shear from a microburst during the final approach, too low to escape.
It feels unreal because nothing looks like a wall, yet the air can behave like one, changing in seconds.
The safest landing is the one you postpone, because you cannot win an argument with a storm at low altitude.
When the storm finally passes, the silence is not peace. It is the moment reality settles in.
Behind every statistic is a person, and behind every person is a family that never gets the day back.
The same atmosphere still exists today, which is why the lesson of Flight 191 must stay alive.
We learned to fear fire and metal, but the true enemy here was air itself, moving the wrong way at the worst time.
In this story, everything turns on seconds, and seconds are exactly what a microburst refuses to give.
The choice that saves lives often feels like delay, but delay is nothing compared to a storm's final minute.
Lightning is what you notice, but wind shear is what reaches into the wings and takes lift away.
Aviation learned to see more than rain, because seeing the wind is the difference between warning and surprise.
When clouds close in on final, the safest response is not bravery. It is distance. The center line guides a landing, but only a decision can keep you out of a storm cell on final.
We tell this story not to relive the crash, but to prevent the next one by remembering what the storm can do.
Airports never sleep, and every safe arrival is built on lessons paid for by those who did not make it home. The sky can be gentle for years, then become ruthless in minutes, and that is why caution matters most on final. And that is the final rule written by Flight 191. If wind shear is possible, do not argue with the sky. Leave.